Hey guys, welcome. Part 2 of the April Fool's celebration is about to be announced. I think in a few days it's gonna be around. And I wanted to make like a video predicting that, but then I ended up having so much fun with it that I did the whole year, predicting the whole year. But before that, a little disclaimer. This is just for fun. Predicting Dokkan is a fool's errand, especially like a whole year. Because the minor, like the monthly DFEs and stuff like that, are very unpredictable, and even like major celebrations are really hard to predict, like far into the future. So I just picked what would make sense in that certain spot, not necessarily, oh, I think this is gonna happen. No, I think like this could happen. Okay. And up to 2 picks per spot. So for example, for April Fool's Part 2, I have an A option and a B option. I think the A option is going to be more likely, the B option is less likely. I've not done that for everything. For example, monthly DFEs, I didn't really want to spend too much time on that, and I mainly did that with like major celebrations. But anyway, let's get into it. And we're going to start with April Fool's. We already know Part 1. Who that was Perfect Cell. Tournament participant and Worldwide Chaos leader. I think tournament participants makes way more sense than Worldwide Chaos for Part 2. And my A option is Super Kaioken Goku. My B option is a transforming Paikuhan. I like the way that the units are, like if they're transforming, if it's a standby, if it's a tag switch unit. I try to choose what I think would make the most amount of sense, and sometimes to just like, I don't know, switch it up a little bit so it's not too boring. Super Kaioken Goku and Paikuhan, the reason for that is the easy A's. I mean, we don't really have much to go off. I think they could really do anything tournament participants relating in Part 2. I mean, we've seen this with Super Boo, where it was transformation boost, and then first of all it was Kale, then Super Boost, so they don't really have much, they don't need to have much like going on. I mean, connecting them to the Part 1 unit, so it could be anything. It could be a tournament of power. That could also be the case. It could be Super Saiyan Goku versus Perfect Cell. So yeah, but I just did that because I feel like those 2 units deserve an LR. Cause I don't know, man. I love Super Kaioken Goku, man. I remember watching that, like that scene as a kid was like hype. You know, Kaioken on Super Saiyan. What the hell? It's the craziest thing. And then Paikuhan, he's a GOAT, man. He's underappreciated, underrated. He needs an LR. In my opinion, he deserves one. So it's transforming into like his turbanless form where he did like this fire spin move. It could also be a tag switch unit with both of these. I've seen that flowing around. And actually with Frieza and Goku, you have that in a way because their animations are of them fighting each other. Even though they fought Jiren, and that's also kind of in that card, but to the same extent, Paikuhan and Goku kind of fought Frieza, Cell, and like the Ginyu Force together. I mean, it wasn't really a fight, but yeah, I think they could do like fights into tag switch units. For example, Super Saiyan 2 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Majin Vegeta. As a tag switch unit would also go hard, and they just reuse the animations of them fighting each other. I feel like they could also do that. But yeah. Now, Golden Week is almost certainly Daima, in my opinion. And as you can see, I haven't even, like, I didn't even need a B option for this guy, because I feel like 100% it's gonna be Goma versus either Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku or Super Saiyan 3 Adult Vegeta. I think Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku makes more sense as a way more likely option, but maybe if they want to spice it up, they could do Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I think it's gonna be a transforming Goma. Because I don't know, I feel like that makes the most amount of sense for like the first unit, and then they'll do a standalone Goma later on. Now, part 2, I think, could also be this guy, like a very small chance, but mostly I also didn't reuse any previous picks. So, like, these guys are slotted in these spots, and I'm not gonna reuse them. The same, I don't reuse this guy, because I feel like that would just make it a little bit more boring, because I can see a lot of these guys in multiple spots. I'm just gonna, like, talk about it in a side note. But yeah, I think that this guy, the kid version, the asterisk, because this is from Legends, the Super Saiyan 4 adult version. I think the kid version is going to be the part 2 LR. I don't think we're going to get the adult one yet. But yeah, I could also see maybe Frieza Saga as a golden week, but that's like a 5% chance. I feel like this is a over 90% chance of happening. Okay, May DFE. This is the first, like, DFE slot, and these are hard to predict because they just be doing random shit. And I decided to go for Saiyan Saga because, well, I feel like Saiyan Saga is a little bit underrepresented in Dokkan Battle, and they deserve more units. The part 1 is a Goku turning into Kaioken Goku, transforming. I don't know, I feel like that would be very exciting. I don't really know, is there like, there hasn't been a long, there's been a long time since we got like a Goku like this. And did we ever get like a Goku that transforms into a Kaioken Goku, like a Saiyan Saga one? Because I'm not sure, but yeah, I feel like that could be a cool unit. And of course, part 1 and part 2 always like connect with each other with the May DFE. Part 2, I feel like could be a tag switch Nappa and Vegeta with a Great Ape Vegeta transformation, or like giant form turn. The reason for this is because I feel like it would be a fun idea, and I kind of wanted to just do fun things in this, I don't know, showcase. Like fun units. And I wanted to use the tag switch mechanic, but I didn't want to use it too much. Yeah. I think this unit is a perfect part 2 because it's not too hype for most people. Let's be honest, most people don't think that Saiyan Saga is that hype, even though I think it is. And then for the people who think this is hype, they get a hype-ass unit. That's what I think tag switch units are also very perfect in, because it gives two fan bases, or like two types of fans, their own unit. Because then you can just package two lesser hype characters into one unit and satisfy both groups. And that's what I also kind of did with this. Because then you give the Nappa fans, me by the way, a Nappa unit, and the Saiyan Saga Vegeta fans a Saiyan Saga Vegeta unit. So that's also kind of what I utilized the tag switch unit for a lot of lesser hype units that combined would be like hype enough in a sense, and would also give like a spot for two lesser hype units. Let's get to Tanabata. I think Tanabata is gonna be Super Saiyan 4 adult Goku, like from Daima. I feel it in my bones. Like, that's just, it makes so much sense to me. I don't know, in my mind it's just like, yeah, this is 90% gonna happen. A small chance I see with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, because we have a Super Saiyan 4 Goku right now in the game that is really good, and he's AGL. STR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, bro, we could relive like the 4th year anniversary. You know, that would be fucking hype. A hype little notch back. But yeah, part 2 is then the A option is a standalone Goma, like the buff one, just as a counterpart to the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That's what I did here. I always do the counterparts with option A and B. So I don't really do like, oh, I feel like this is going to be option A and option B, but then I'm going to do like different things here. I'm always going to do the counterparts. And then this one, I accidentally did A and B here, but this is B option, okay? This was just a mistake. Nova Shenron and Ice Shenron. The reason for this is because these are two not so hype units for most people, even though like Nova Shenron is my GOAT. I feel like they also both deserve an LR, and we can just slot them both into this spot, give them a tag switch unit in this like lesser hype quote-unquote spot, and it would be a perfect counterpart for Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, because I want to do more with GT in this year, so I couldn't really use any other moments. I feel like these are like perfect for a tag switch unit in like a part 2 Tenabata, or maybe like monthly DFE in general. But yeah. And then the monthly DFE between Tenabata and Worldwide Download Celebration is very unpredictable, but I did Dragon Ball Classic Yamcha as the A option and Majin Ku as the B option. Now the reason is because I also like Yamcha is the A option, is because I think that Dragon Ball Classic is gonna be big this year, because there's an overlap with Diamond that is Dragon Ball Seekers, because most units in Dragon Ball Classic are on Dragon Ball Seekers and Dragon Ball Daima characters as well. So there's an overlap, and I think they're able to slot a lot of Dragon Ball Classic units in this year. And Dragon Ball Daima is the B option because, first of all, I've already used a lot of Daima this year, so I don't really want to go too overboard. And second of all, it's just an easy pick for this year. They're gonna do Daima. They're gonna continue to do Daima. They're gonna continue to drop Daima all year long, and even, I think, even past this year. So it's an easy pick. But yeah, I also think that GT is an easy pick, because GT and Daima also have a huge overlap because of Super Saiyan 4. So I think they're gonna also drop a lot of Dragon Ball GT stuff. But yeah, that's it for Tenabata, and let's go to Worldwide Download Celebration. Now I have thought that Worldwide Download Celebration is going to be GT themed for a few months, for like 1 or 2 months by now. The reason I just feel like this year would be perfect, I mean, right now you have the 7th year Gogeta EZA, you have the Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then you have a lot of GT EZAs and S or like Super EZAs coming up. Very, very good timing for a GT Worldwide Download Celebration. And I've looked, the way I structured this was with like EZAs, with looking at the past, looking at what might happen. And Worldwide Download Celebrations always have a theming. Always. Either a saga or a movie theming that they had in the last few years. I think from 2019 on, if I'm not mistaken. I can look when it was again, but I think the 5th year Worldwide Download Celebration, or maybe the 4th year, is where they started with that whole theming. And yeah, it was 2019. I'm looking at it right now, where we had Cell Saga, then 2020 we had Boo Saga, then 2021 we had Namek Saga, then 2022 we had the Cooler Duology, then 2023 we had Future Saga, although the Gohan is a little bit of an outlier, but you could also see it as like a general Future Saga category, because he also was like in the Future movie, or like in the movie that played in the future. the special. And then 2024 was the Broly duology. And like the trilogy, if you count the free-to-play one. But yeah, from that we see that they have already had 1 Dragon Ball Super Saga, 3 Dragon Ball Z Sagas, and 2 movie celebrations. And another kind of pattern I've noticed ever since the Namek celebration, we had saga, movie, saga, movie. So next I think it's gonna be a saga. We already have most of Dragon Ball Z covered. We already had Dragon Ball Super. I don't think Dragon Ball Daima is really good for a worldwide download celebration, because I don't know how they would structure that, because the only really antagonist you have is Goma. And for example, Majin Buu, nobody really fights Majin Buu from the main cast. The Tamagamis, the only really fight is Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, who we already have as a unit. So I don't really see them doing a worldwide download celebration, at least yet. That wouldn't really make any sense, in my opinion at least. Dragon Ball Super, we already had that. We already had a movie last year, so I think it's gonna be a saga. And Dragon Ball GT, it's just a primetime spot. So yeah, that is kind of my reasoning for putting Dragon Ball GT in this spot. I think it just makes a lot of sense if you look at the Easy A's, and especially at the Super Easy A's. If you count it in Daima, and if you look at the past of the worldwide download celebrations and what kind we already had. And of course, part 1 is the easiest choice. When you think about Dragon Ball GT, what do you think about? Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Omega Shenron. Easy peasy. Attack switching Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is just the easiest pick ever. I mean, that just makes so much sense, and that is just a money printing machine for them. Of course, they're gonna do this eventually, and I think they're gonna do it at Worldwide Download Celebration. And the standby Sin Shenron into Omega Shenron, because with that mechanic you can like collect the 7 Dragon Balls that is needed to transform. Makes a lot of sense. So yeah, and we need a good Omega Shenron in the game, bro. He was, as a kid, he was the pinnacle of Dragon Ball, bro. In Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3, he was the pinnacle of enemies, okay, like in that era. You played Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and when I always made stories with Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and he was always the end boss, because he was the motherfucker, okay. But yeah, I think part 1 makes sense. Part 2 is Super Baby Vegeta. I know he got an LR, but that's been years ago already. And we have a Majube who only got a free-to-play LR. And I don't think he even got a DFE, which is kind of a shame. Because Oop into Majube, very cool. I fuck with that against Super Baby 2. And in general, Super Baby 2 deserves another LR, I think. I have him in Super Saiyan, or like in Super Baby 2 form off the bat in here. That is because when I was making this slide, I wasn't thinking about the LR Super Baby 2 that already existed. Okay, so I only found out about that later. Or like, I remembered that later. So, if I could change that, this baby would probably be a transforming one. Maybe with like a Super Baby 2 form. Or like a giant form. That would be, I think, a little bit cooler. But yeah, this is my prediction. I'm like, this is the one I feel the most confident about after Golden Week. Those two I'm the most certain about. Okay, so let's move on to the October DFE. Bojack. The reason I put Bojack in here, because I feel like October, November is when they just drop random, or like in general, like those monthly TOR DFEs. They love to just drop random movie bosses in there. Like, that's what I've noticed from like looking at the timeline. And Bojack into full power Bojack is, I feel like that's a cool concept. It's been quite a while since we got our last DFE Bojack, as I'm aware. I think, let me look at it right now. I'm trying to find him. Wasn't he in like 2021, 2022? 2020 we got the last DFE Bojack, and I don't know, man. Bojack I think is cool. He deserves another DFE. Been a long time since he got, I mean, like his last DFE already Easy 8. You know, Easy 8 last year. So I feel like it's been quite a time, and we didn't get like a transforming one. I mean, we have an LR full power one. We have, I think a DF... Is this a DFE? Full power Bojack? No, I think he's like a banner unit or something. But anyway, even though... even then, we didn't ever get like a transforming one, which I feel like is a little bit of wasted potential. And most importantly, with him we can easy A the Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan that fights against Bojack. That would, like, with these monthly DFEs, I went for easy A's the heaviest, because they're so unpredictable. I'm just like, okay, you can easy A this character here in this spot. Part 2 is tag switching Mecha Frieza into King Cold LR. The reason for this is because I feel like both these units aren't really considered that hype by Dokkan, even though I think King Cold is cold as hell. And Mecha Frieza is also cool as hell. King Cold has not gotten a DFE ever. King Cold never got a DFE. Which is, to me, a shame. A darn shame. I mean, the most he got is like free-to-play units that are very mediocre. But with this tag switch unit mechanic, like I said, I feel like we can use 2 lesser hype units in one spot, so we can satisfy 2 different groups at once. I know that with these 2 people, the units, characters, it overlaps by a lot, but then we make these people twice as happy. And yeah, I think this is just like a lesser hype, quote-unquote, release that you can kind of spice up with the new tag switch mechanic. And I think this would be cool as hell. With a lot of these picks, I also thought, like, what would be cool? What would be a cool unit? Okay, so yeah. November DFE, another tag switching Android 17 and 18. The reason for this, I think, was like for easy A purposes, maybe. I don't remember everything, sorry. But I feel like, oh yeah. You can easy A the Gammas. So Gamma 1 and 2, because they're also androids, you can easy A them here. You can maybe easy A... let me see what else we have to easy A. Is the Android Super Android 17 easy A already? I don't think so. But he would probably easy A with the GT celebration. Oh yeah, you can easy A the future Gohan and Trunks LR that released in 2021 at the end. You can easy A that. You can easy A the AGL Trunks that came out October. Yeah, you can easy A quite a few of units in this spot. And of course, with the Frieza and King Cold, you can also easy A the physical Frieza that transforms into Golden Frieza. So yeah, that is my reasoning for these, and I feel like they fit here. They also would deserve like a DFE LR maybe, but I feel like this is a nice spot for them, and this is like the best I could think of for Easy Ace, especially. Now the crossover spot was for Dragon Ball Heroes. I just made this a general crossover spot, which I think would make a lot of sense. And the unit that makes the most amount of sense to me is Gohan Black. Because, well, a lot of people, the moment they saw him, they were like, shit, put this motherfucker in Dokkan, because this is cold, okay? I mean, Gohan Black, hello? That's a dream. Just make that a crossover unit, bam. Easy peasy. New Year's. With New Year's, I picked for A option Super Saiyan Teen Gohan, or like Adult Gohan, and the Bura. The reason for this is I feel like the Bura DFE this year or maybe next year is very likely due to Daima and demonic power. So the Bura makes a lot of sense, and who fights against the Bura? It's Super Saiyan Gohan. And I feel like he also deserves a DFE, if you ask me. Now, because I also said Dragon Ball Classic could play a role here, I also put in 22nd World Tournament Goku and Tien in here, because I feel like they deserve DFEs. Because, I mean, the 23rd World Tournament already has Goku and Piccolo DFEs. This 22nd Budokai, in my opinion, is even more hype. Goku versus Tien, top 5 fights in Dragon Ball in general. That might be a hot take, but I feel like they deserve one. And this year would be a good year for them to get it. Or maybe next year. I could also see them making next year all about Dragon Ball Classic. That would also be cool. This year they focus on Daima and GT, and then a little bit on Dragon Ball Classic, and then the next year like more on Dragon Ball Classic. I could see that happening. Would be very cool. But yeah, these are my options for the Part 1 New Year's. And the Part 2 LR, boom, Kefla. The reason I have Kale and Caulifla fusing here is because it's very unpredictable who's gonna be in the spot. I haven't found any pattern for this, like just random ass hype units. That's the only pattern I found, that the New Year's Part 2, or whatever it's called, like the last unit in the year, is always a pretty hype character without really any major connections to the previous part. So we had Gotenks, the last one. Before that we had the Super Saiyan Trio. Before that we had the Carnival Goku. Before that we had the Gohan and Trunks. Before that we had Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan. So I feel like they fit perfectly in here. They deserve a new unit, and Kefla in general deserves an LR. She hasn't gotten an LR yet. And the tag switching mechanic is the perfect mechanic to implement an LR for her. Because that's what I've been also hearing a lot ever since the tag switching mechanic has been a thing. People were like, oh, Caulifla and Kale tag switching into Kefla would be awesome sauce. Now I've done this with like the base forms into Super Saiyan 2, but that's just because the images I used. This is just a general concept. I don't know what they would do. Would they do like base forms into base Kefla and then she transforms, or she just stays in base Kefla, or you have them fusing into Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, or like whatever. I don't really care. All I care about is Super Saiyan or like an LR Kefla. But yeah. This was like my quote-unquote prediction for the year. It's not really a prediction, but more so a guess on what could happen this year, and having like my fun with it. This was really fun. I like doing this kind of stuff. I want to maybe get more into doing like stuff like this for Dokkan, like thinking about things that could have maybe make mock-up units, kits and stuff like that maybe. But yeah, tell me what you think about the year I've created here. Would you summon? Would you think that this would be a hype year? Or do you think this makes no sense at all? This is horrible. Or maybe you don't want this at all. Leave your thoughts in the comments, like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Bye.